Hello all, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. So today we are going to be breaking down Super EZA, Super Vegito, and Buuhan. I was actually asleep last night when this data download dropped, so I woke up this morning to see this. I'm pretty actually surprised they're doing these guys now. To be honest, I would have figured they'd do Super Gogeta and Janemba first, but maybe they want to do it like in part two. If and likely there's gonna be a Super Gogeta. I don't know. I'm still kind of mixed on that. I might update my predictions at some point. We'll see. But that being said, I am pretty excited for both these characters. Super Vegeta was tied with Int Kid Buu as my first rainbow. And I just want to show something here real quick, just to make a little point. Which one? Okay, that's global. We just go over the cards, right? We can go. Actually, it'll be simpler to go categories. Yeah, cool. Add. Awesome. All right, let's go over to Boost Saga. Now, I just want to show Super Vegito. To make a point here. Oh my God, the ads. Here we go. Okay. So with Super Vegito here, he had not the best of an ECA. I mean, this was his passive before, so it's not like he was like, oh my God, but like he was really good with just this. And then on Easy A, this is all they gave him. Like, this is it. Like all at 5% higher. So this is one of those characters they intentionally shafted. He was one of the most disappointing Easy A's. But from back in the day, as far as I can remember. So I mean, let's hope I mean, all the Super EZAs have at least been good when they dropped. I do think it's fair to say. They've been good when they dropped. I don't know, you can talk about how, like, AGL Dragon Fist has aged or uh, Super EZA, like Goku Black. But when they've dropped, they've all been good. So I'm not going to expect anything less. Otherwise, I'm going to crash out. But let's see what we got here. I'm hoping. I got to start with this guy first. Okay, so he's getting it's gonna take some getting used to this new sort of thing. He's getting 2 key, 200% attack and defense at the start of the turn, and 40% damage reduction. When receiving a normal attack, he gets 40% damage reduction and counters. Okay, so that's it. So they split the damage reduction essentially. So instead of just 80% for normals, it's 40% for normals and 40% for the super. 80% for normals, 40% for super, which is really nice. That gives them some sort of defensive mechanic against supers. That's actually probably pretty helpful. For when attacking with 12 key or more, attack and defense plus 150%. So that will start. You won't see that until that will activate as soon as the sort of turn starts. But before like an enemy hits you. So I mean 350% essentially start a turn. For every attack received, attack and defense plus 25% up to 100%. Chance performing critical hit plus 15% up to 60%. That's pretty good, I'd say. Decent build up. And the crit's going to be pretty helpful. When HP is 50% or less, it guards all attack, proceeds enemy super attack for 2 turns. Okay. When there is a superclass enemy, attack and defense plus 50%, all eyes key 2, defense plus 20%, self-exclude. What? When there's an extreme class enemy, attack and defense plus 100%, all eyes key 3, defense 30%, self-excluded. What? Why is he excluding himself? Why is he excluding himself? We know we're on the verge of great power creep. considering like that Namek fight. I had super easy Beerus take 480,000 full build up. He had like shocking speed active. I got Link level 10. 60% fucking damage reduction guard. I think I have a defense equip on him. Like, bro is built to tank that shit, and he ate 480,000. That was so surprising to me. And we're gonna, come on, don't really. I mean, it's probably not the biggest deal. I mean, he is buffing himself here, but like, why can't? I mean, what's the issue with this? Right? I don't. It's not going to be the biggest difference because when you think about it, I mean, this is 350, and then when you go down here, this is either going to be 400 or 450. These are all phase 1 sort of abilities. So I mean, realistically speaking, the extra 20 or 30% isn't going to be all that visible. So it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but like, why just come on? We don't need to do that stupid shit. I mean, how good is he gonna be? That's a question. I don't know what he's gonna be at defensively. I really, I hope he's gonna be good. I'll say that. But I don't know. I mean, at least this bullshit isn't, because this used to be 40%. Yeah, 40% or less. At least this bullshit is, 50% now. So I mean, there's that. But I mean, I HP conditions, like, the more we progress through the game, the more I like don't like them, cause I mean, just like the latest example, Super Saiyan 3, I've actually had a lot of issues trying to transform into him, the physical one. I mean, the Super Saiyan 2 form is good, which is really nice and helpful, because of that fact. But I mean, it's just like it feels impossible to me. Some of these times to just transform, which is really unfortunate. I mean, this is 50%. I mean, he would link really, really well with like Gogeta, though, right? You mean you have the super counter thing with 80% damage reduction. He's not taking anything from normal. I mean, they did keep the spirit of the character intact. He. I mean, that's a lot of buildup. What's his defense in game? I'm curious. Not the highest. Okay, I'm gonna put this under like we'll see. I don't know what to really expect here, if I'm being honest. He's gonna be runnable, 100%. I don't think he'll tank supers. I think if you have the guard active, in that scenario, potentially, but he's not tanking supers. I don't think so. I would have liked him to be stronger, but I guess I can't say I'm like surprised by this design. If I were to change really anything, give him like an additional, just built-in additional super. I mean, he is buffing allies. Give him a reason to go in slot 1, even if it's like risky. I think that would be pretty nice. Or, get rid of this self-excluded bullshit. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but I don't know. I would have liked him to be better. I'll say that, but I think he's going to be really good. And hopefully that doesn't mean he gets aged out by the end of anniversary. Well, we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Buuhan here. Let's see what we got. This was another one of those characters that was just a lot of fun early on. I don't know when. I actually don't think I have him rainbow. Yeah, I don't. Okay. Now, he does actually. I don't know how to see it. And I actually be 100% honest. I really don't know its effect either. But he does have a chance for it to be a different super. I do wonder if we could maybe see that on here. No. Just bring me back to cards categories. That'll be simpler. I do want to check that real quick. Because I doubt they're going to get rid of that mechanic. It was like something like it turned into like the ghost kamikaze attack or something, I think. Yeah, it just says 30% chance. So, see, it does exist, I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like a stronger version of the same effect, maybe? I really don't know. Alright, well, let's see what we got here then. Okay. 200% attack and defense, start a turn. Launch an additional super attack. Change key spheres, text to rainbow. 15% HP at the end of turn. That's pretty good. What? 200%, 150, 200%. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Sure. Okay. Alright. Really? So Buuhann's just gonna be better, because he's also a fucking nuker. Alright, cool. Starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle, randomly change key spheres of a certain type, tech excluded, to int key spheres. That's pretty good. Yeah, for every key sphere obtained, attack plus 40%, defense plus 30%, covers 12,000 HP. Yeah. Come on. Really? Okay. For every rainbow key sphere obtained, chance of forming critical hit plus 33%, and damage reduction rate 22% up to 66%. Hello? Really? Wow, they're coming out at the same time. Seriously? Okay. Oh, I didn't cancel. I don't mean to do whatever that was. When there's a superclass enemy, attack defense 100%. Allies key 3, attack plus 30%, self-excluded. When there's an extreme class enemy, attack defense plus 50%. All allies key 2, attack plus 20%, self-excluded. Like, come on, really? This is... Now, to be fair, Vegito does have 100% build-up. This is a phase 2 build-up. So that is going to be pretty good. But I mean, when you're running both of these guys in their optimal scenarios, start of turn into Buuhann is going to have higher stats. So I mean that just right off the bat, and that's without considering rainbow key spheres. I mean, that seems kind of ridiculous. Of course, you could say, you know, this guy you're gonna just run like perma slot 2, most likely. Well, actually, no. You could even just throw him in slot 1, because that he will get this as soon as he collects the orbs. So I mean, if there's enough orbs, you could just throw him in slot 1, and you know you get 3 rainbow orbs. You got 66% damage. Like, really? Come on, he's actually just so insanely better than Vegito. That's crazy. I mean, a villain unit definitely deserves to be stronger. But like, Vegito is a counter unit, and the counters are my favorite sort of mechanic. And you know, I don't have Tech UI. We know how strength Vegito is. I guess I hope the new Super Vegito is going to be a counter unit. I mean, don't get me wrong, Super Vegito is going to be good, but I mean, this looks like heads and shoulders clearly stronger Buuhann. I am curious about what these stats are going to be. They both do look pretty good, but it's just like Buuhann is just like overwhelmingly better. I don't know where these guys would like rank. You know, like, is he better than Super Easy Beerus or something like that? I don't usually like to go that far. I'm just seeing the unit for the first time, so okay. Here's what we'll do. we're gonna cut away. I do need to get around to doing the defense calcs. I haven't done that just yet. So we'll come back and we'll see just how crazy these two are gonna be. I mean, Buuhan specifically, like this is just gonna be pretty crazy. Vegeta will be pretty simple to calculate, which is kind of unfortunate. I do think he'll be. So the main thing I actually do want to see with Vegito, I'm curious. I don't. I don't know. If he's going to have high enough attack where his counters are going to hurt, like Goku and Frieza, for example. That'd be what I'd be really interested in. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, we'll cut away here. We'll get to doing the defense calcs, and we'll come back and we'll see just how crazy these two are. All right. So we are back. So I've gotten the calcs done, and I just want to say real quick, I feel like honestly, I might be in the minority on something here. But I'll explain that in a moment. So here we are. I'm start at the bottom. My bad. Super Vegeta. I mean, we look at the stats here, and it's like, oh well, he's not even over 1 million. He sucks. Well, not really. You do have to. So, just point blank, he gets hit by a super, he's fucking dead, right? It's just, it's not. He's just dead. I'm curious, about the sort of like. Okay, this ability here. I am really curious about this guard all attack, because I'm thinking about this. And I mean, you say we're fully built up here, and I guess we can show the extreme class a bit too, right? To be fair, right? So we're fully built up. We're at 887,147. Defense with because we have 40% support, right? We have 40% damage reduction. We have guard. I don't like that. He's not. I could be wrong. I guess, but I mean, mathematically speaking, it just one of them applies before, right, and one applies after. So I mean, I guess I can pull this up. We can see. Calculator, right? So let's say there's a super doing 5 million damage, right? Okay. Now, I believe it's damage reduction that applies first. So we'll do times 0.4. So, obviously 2 mil right off the bat, just taken off. So there's now a 3 million super, right? And then it's a guard that applies. And I believe that's, worth like practically like 50% damage reduction. I believe it's how it works. I don't know the exact mathematical value, but it's roughly like worth 50% damage reduction, I think. But it just applied in a separate sort of phase, which is why it's really good comboed together. So I mean, I just to show, right? 0.5, 1.5 mil. Okay, 1.5 mil minus 887. 147, 612,053. Like, maybe you live. It depends on your health bar already. Actually, no, not even. Actually, no. I can just fully correct that. You don't live. You just don't live, because you only get the guard when you're under 50% HP. So you just fucking die, right? You just die. So, this I am curious about what the thought process behind this ability is. I do wonder if potentially we can expect. Now, the interesting thing about these characters is they do not get any defensive buff on SA phase. So, when there's separate phases, super effect phase, that's what I'm referring to. Neither of them have an actual SA effect that gives defense. So, if there is a character, say brand new Super Vegito, that's slot 1, gives 50% defense to all allies for 2 turns. Well, suddenly, that's a substantial buff. That's not like, oh my god, he's busted, but like, it'd just be a direct like 50% of this. You could say he's at 1.2, like 1.3 millish defense in that scenario. He'd still, well, in that scenario, under the HP threshold, he might live. It's going to be very, very dependent on like your HP and such. But this is, once again, this is under 50% HP we're talking about. This, and it's at the start of the turn. So this is a very hard scenario to actually come across. If you don't have the guard, none of this even matters, and you just die. Just straight up. We cut that down to like a, it was a 3 mil super. Even if we had like a 1.3 mil defense, we still die to that. So I'm curious about why the guard is there. I guess he'd be pretty broken if he just like had it, but I don't know. I feel like there should have maybe been something else, because it's kind of, when you think about it, that guard is almost pointless. I don't want to say entirely pointless, but it's like almost pointless. It is very, 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 very rarely going to actually save you, because you're already taking nothing from normals. If you get hit by a super, it's a very, very rare scenario that you might live. Now, all of that being said, he is eating every normal in the game, and he should be for quite a while. We're getting up to, even if we just take without the support, just 800,000 defense, 80% damage reduction is quite a lot. We 5 mil again. Let's say we get to the point where we're seeing a 5 mil normal. Holy shit! Times 0.8. You're taking off 4 million immediately. You have 800,000. You'll take damage, right? You'll take 200,000, but like, this is some fucking insane scenario where we're talking 5 million damage from a normal. Right now, the highest normal goes up to what, like 1.2 or something? I don't know how high actually like Janimba might be able to get up to, but it's not even far into above like 1 million. Which is crazy in and of itself, to be honest, but still, point being, this guy isn't going to age for quite a while against normals. Practically, you're just going to be good to run him, which is really nice, at least. I do think this guy potentially has a pretty good lifespan. And the thing to note about him really is, you're going to be running him next to, like, his best, he has several, like, best partners. Ironically, this guy's his actual best partner, but, Super Gogeta, you're running him next to Super Gogeta. He already has the fucking Scouter effect, right? So, you don't need to worry about getting hot once you have Gogeta up. You can get Gogeta up by turn 5. And early on, the supers aren't going to be doing that much. You could maybe get away with putting this guy in slot 1, the like first phase of the fight or something. Maybe the second phase. Maybe. It'll also depend on like typing. If it's like a tech enemy, it's probably not going to work. But this guy could cover for a little bit till you get this guy out, and then he just slot 1s, and you could take real advantage of the counters, which is really nice. So I'm actually a really he's grown on me after seeing the Calcs. Now, that being said, The opposite, I think, is true for Buuhan. Buuhan is good. Buuhan is really good. It's very dependent, though. I feel like, at least with Vegito, so Buuhan can get to. So I just calced at 10 orbs across the board. I felt like that was fair. He could get higher, obviously. I mean, there's 23 orbs you can gather, but you do have to do some setup and get lucky with the orb changing and stuff like that. So I mean, you can easily say, turn this into like 15 orbs, and then he looks a decent bit better. But that being said, I mean you could just do that with any sort of character, right? I mean, you take like Dokkan Fest AGL Vegeta, for example. I mean, I feel like he's double orb changing once you get him built up, and I feel like I struggle for like 10 orbs a decent bit with him at least. I mean, it depends. Because the issue is there's other characters on that team that really want the orbs too, so it's hard to set it up. I guess no, because on the Buu team with the domain, I do have the domain scenario calc too. I mean, Buu, Super Buu, whatever, he does want 6 orbs at least. So I feel like it's gonna be like easier said than done. Sort of getting him what he needs, and I mean he gets up to 66% damage reduction, which is pretty damn good. I mean, you're cutting down 3 some odd mil damage off like a 5 mil super. So you will potentially with like the domain up or something, be able to tank, which is pretty nice. Be able to live whatever. The thing is though, I mean we take a look here. He does get 22% damage reduction per Rainbow Key Sphere. You need to get 3 Rainbow Key Spheres for him to be able to tank. You can't like get 4 and then it's like, oh well, now he's good. Or not 4. I mean 2. You can't get 2 and it's because 44%. I messed it up. You can't get 2 and just be like, oh well, I'm still fine even though I didn't get 3. He really defensively, if you're taking a super, will need the third one. Now there is a sort of different standard here because you may be like, well, I mean, why are you talking about him taking the super, but for Vegito he gets a pass? Well, I mean, with Vegito he's going to be tanking every fucking normal, and while he has, as long as there is a really good scouter character that can reliably get the scouter, Vegito is essentially going to be runnable, and it's not going to be some niche shit like fucking Fizz Super Vegito. I mean, this guy is he's going to be chilling as long as you don't get hit by super. Now, if there's like AoE supers going into the final phases of the red zones or whatever for this anniversary, I mean, then we can start talking some shit, right? Because AoEs aren't going to be too good for him, obviously. But as long as you can just play around and avoid super, of course you're going to get caught from time to time. You may get like locked or something, and it's just out of your control. But I mean, overall, I would say he is going to be like fine, like consistently. Whereas Buuhan, there are going to be I feel like a lot more scenarios where Buuhan's going to end up getting caught than Super Vegito. Now Buuhan's going to be doing a shit ton more extra damage, 100%. I'm not really sure what the damage of either is going to look like, to be fair, but it's going to be pretty crazy. I feel like I'm thinking about how I'm playing the game. I feel like I'm going to be running into scenarios where I'm not getting 3 rainbow orbs every single time. I mean, who knows? You guys might, be able to set that up a lot better than like I would, but I feel like I might personally have issues with Buuhan being consistent, whereas Super Vegeta will be. But yeah, I mean, there we go. I do think they're both really good. I think I'm probably, I took a little peek at Twitter while I was doing these, just to see what some people's thoughts were and such. And I'd see a lot of like hate. I don't know if people aren't really satisfied with Super Vegito. I feel like he could have been stronger, 100%. But you know, seeing that he's going to be tanking all normals for until the end of time, I mean, I'm fine with that. I think that's okay. I think I'm happy with that sort of decision. Buuhan, I mean, he's good now, 100%. He is a character that isn't going to have a long lifespan, I don't think. I mean, it's just the Buu team sort of stuff in general, though, to be fair. We'll see what these guys are looking like by the time we hit the, part 3 of the anniversary and we get, the big fights there. I do think Super Vegito might be a lot more favorable to people than Buuhan by that time, but, once again, this is also for like 10 orbs. You could easily, if you get him up to 15 orbs, I don't think that's too likely, so. But, I mean, obviously he'd be significantly better with another, like, 5 orbs or something, but, I mean, yeah, I think they're both really good. I think I'm happy with what they did. I do want to note this again real quick. When you look at these characters, I mean, it's less so for, Vegito, because he does have some attack built in here on his super effect. But for, like, Buuhan and Vegito, any sort of buff from allies that's in the super effect phase is going to be really, really helpful, powerful for them, whatever term you want to use. That is going to be how you really buff these guys, because, phase 1 support is going to be nice, but it's not going to be nothing like the super effect support will be. But yeah, there we go. Thank you all for watching. I think they're both pretty good. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.